In 2024, I have experienced a number of fairly drastic life changes. After 20 years of working the 9-to-5 corporate life, I walked away from my job with basically nothing else lined up, making this the first time in my adult life that I willingly have no immediately pressing job or academic obligations. I also moved from Chicago, where I've been living for the past 7 years, to Lisbon, Portugal, meaning I parted ways with friends and with others who've played a pretty major role in shaping my lifestyle, my relationships, my social interactions in recent years. To add to that, I substantially cut back my alcohol consumption, which is a decision that fundamentally alters how I interact with people, how I pass time, and how I just carry out my lifestyle on the whole. And as if that wasn't enough, I also recently just sold my main home in Chicago, my primary residence, which was a major source of pride, of joy, of stability for me, since I spent so much of my time personalizing it for my needs and to be a representation of my identity. I made these 4 major life-altering decisions in a span of just a few months. In my experience, a lot of people really struggle with making just one of these sorts of decisions in their lifetimes, let alone 4 of them all at once. So how did I do it? How did I make multiple major life decisions in such a short period of time without being terrorized by the cloud of anxiety and uncertainty that typically would come with making such changes? There are a lot of things that I can highlight, such as stepping outside of your comfort zone, getting deep clarity on a life vision, etc. And these things are, in fact, quite important. But if I had to point to one quality that is of utmost importance, it would be the ability to let go. What do I mean by letting go? As humans, we have a tendency to attach to people, to places, to things that reaffirm the ideas that we hold about ourselves. These are external factors that contribute a great deal to shaping our identities. And anytime one of these factors changes, it represents a sort of internal death of the identities that we've come to know about ourselves. We hold many different identities of ourselves, but they play a major role in driving our thoughts and our actions. For example, I'm so-and-so's partner, I'm so-and-so's husband, so-and-so's boyfriend. I'm an accomplished corporate professional who's climbing up the corporate ladder. I'm an upper middle class citizen who lives in this particular neighborhood. I'm a New Yorker, I'm a Bostonian, I'm a Chicagoan, right? Like, we all have a bunch of different identities that we place on ourselves. And the thing is that our conscious and our subconscious minds are hardwired to process the world through these identities that we've attached ourselves to, right? Our brain chemistry, our physiology, our physical beings are not only programmed to operate within the context of the identities that we hold of ourselves, but also come with seemingly insurmountable inertia that takes extraordinary levels of discomfort to alter or to change. So letting go of the ideas that we have of ourselves requires breaking an addiction of sorts. It requires breaking an addiction to our own identities, even when the identities that we've latched onto are no longer serving us well. Now, I'm no mental health professional, so I'll turn to the textbook definition of what it means to be addicted. According to the definition that I found, it is exhibiting a compulsive, chronic, physiological, or psychological need for a habit-forming substance, behavior, or activity. And I realized that addiction, that word, is more so associated with behaviors that are generally not accepted in society, such as excessive drinking, drugs, things like that. However, that definition can easily apply to the attachments that we have to people, to places, to things that fall well within the realm of what's considered socially acceptable behavior. And the truth is that much of our lives are compulsive, much of our lives are chronic, much of our lives are not only habitual, but also these habits are extremely uncomfortable to break. In some cases, they may even result in some form of withdrawal or another. For example, we might find ourselves in relationships with a person who's not a good fit, therefore limiting our potential to develop deeper connections with a more suitable partner. However, it's the pain of detaching from the familiarity of that relationship that could keep us in it for much longer than we need to be in it, for much longer than what's actually healthy for us, right? We might have dreams to pursue our interest in entrepreneurship. However, the pain of abandoning the status that comes with the job, that job title, the comfort that also comes with that job, the comfort of a steady paycheck, that could be holding us back from ever leaving the job and pursuing something that's much more aligned with our vision of being an entrepreneur. We might want to get out of the hustle and bustle of the big city, get away from all of the noise and pollution, right? We might want to move to, say, a quiet beach town in another state, or perhaps even in another country. But the pain of no longer having the pride of being part of that larger community could be holding us back from placing ourselves into different geographies that are much more appropriate, much more suitable for our needs. You see, these are addictions that are not necessarily self-destructive, but rather they're self-limiting. Or in other words, rather than having extreme downside, there also exist addictions that prevent us from achieving our extreme upside potential. I firmly believe that who you were yesterday is not who you are today, and who you are today is not who you need to be tomorrow. You see, death and rebirth of self is a natural aspect of the growth process. It's not unlike a snake that sheds its skin, or a moose that loses and then regrows its antlers, or flowers that die and then rebloom in the spring. It's natural for the human to experience multiple lives within a single lifetime. So in this context, the death of one identity is just a natural part of life. It's a catalyst for birth of a new one. With time, the circumstances of our lives will change. Our wants and our desires will shift, they will adjust, and our needs will evolve. And with them, so must our identities. There comes a point in everyone's life where an identity that served them in the past is no longer serving them well today. That lifestyle that they prided themselves in living is no longer the lifestyle that they need to be living today, right? It's no longer the lifestyle that they need to be living for the next chapter. That particular partner, that friendship, that relationship that brought them joy and memories in the past is no longer the partner, the friend, the relationship that they need to have for the next chapter. That career that offered the generous salary, the status, the title, is no longer the career that aligns with a person's, say, newfound focus on prioritizing their physical and their mental health. So having this level of awareness, it really helps to identify the moments in life where death and rebirth are essential for decluttering one's life and making space for newer opportunities, for a better path forward. Now, in my case, viewing the world through this framework has given me a license of sorts to let go of previous lives. It's helped me to be okay with the unpleasantness of loss, of accepting that what once existed is no longer. It no longer exists, and that's okay. And most importantly, it's helped me to really shift my focus from remaining attached to the past to being aligned with my future potential. I now see that there must be some form of death of previously held notions of who I am, of who I used to be, before I can create space for new opportunities that have the potential to drastically elevate my life. So accepting this concept has really helped me to move on, right? I no longer have those attachments. And it's helped me to shift from a mindset of scarcity and into a mindset of abundance. I no longer dwell on what I'm losing when I decide to make life-changing decisions, because I'm far too focused on what I'm gaining in the process. Okay, so my challenge for you is this: if you are also trying to make a major life-changing decision, if you feel like you need to take your life in a different direction, you need to take a bold step forward, then I want you to also consider what aspects of your own life may have served you well in the past but are no longer aligned with your future. Think about which identities you hold for yourself and decide whether or not it's truly in step with the life that you truly want for yourself moving forward, right? Are you seriously trying to leave the rat race, to leave that 9-to-5 life and become an entrepreneur? If so, then is the identity of being a gainfully employed career professional holding you back? Are you seriously trying to break bad lifestyle habits to elevate your health, to elevate your fitness? And if so, is the identity of, say, I don't know, being a craft beer connoisseur or a social drinker, is that identity holding you back? Are you seriously trying to travel and experience life in different countries? If so, then is the identity of being a responsible homeowner holding you back, right? Like, is having that mortgage keeping you from exploring and living a totally different lifestyle, right? So what major life decision has been waiting in the shadows for you to finally detach from the outdated beliefs about how your life should be lived and finally stop swimming against the ever-changing tides of life? That is a question that I can't answer for you. Only you can answer it for yourself. That's all that I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the message. And until next time, always remember to get up, get out, and get after it. Peace, everyone.